I'm worried about you guys. It seems like you're drifting away from each other. Everything is fine? This was the first time my daughter, Sarah, asked this question. I felt like a father, although she was already 21 years old. I assured her that we were fine, but the gears started turning in my head. Maybe she's right? I prefer my wife of 23 years, Barbara. We were never a perfect couple, but we always got along well. But after Sarah left home, it seemed that we became further apart. I tried, suggested dates, a trip, time together. The usual response was, "Sounds great, Chris, but we'll be busy for the next few weeks, maybe next month." Barbara seemed more interested in her friends, volunteer activities, and hobbies. She often disappeared for lunch. If Sarah paid attention to this, it was going to be even worse than I thought. Barbara sought to acquire good looks and a refined sense of style, and her warm, charming character attracted attention. My life seemed prosperous. A good job, a stable income, taking care of my physical fitness. All this led me to a sense of well-being. Looking back on more joyful moments, including our wedding day, I felt the height of happiness. Memories of the moment when best man spoke a little sheepishly about our journey clouded the picture somewhat, but overall, everything went well, albeit with dear references that I prefer to forget. The only thing that bothered me a little about Barbara's bachelorette party was that her best friend Vince Hurst joined in the fun, along with all the girls. Although it caught my eye, I didn't think much of it because I knew they were old friends. However, sometimes the thought flashed that Vince might be gay, because I never saw him with either girlfriends or guys. They often met up for dinner or drinks together, and this confused me a little, so I asked Barbara about their relationship. She convinced me that there had never been and never would be any romantic element between them. I took her word for it. Barbara has always been open and honest, and I knew that she wouldn't lie. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. After our wedding, we moved to another city in search of better work opportunities, and it met our expectations. We both made new friends, and I wasn't upset by the idea of Barbara spending less time with Vince, although they continued to stay in contact. Having started our family life almost 2 years later, our first, and, as it turned out, our own daughter, Sarah, was born. Barbara took on the role of a caring mother with sympathy, and we were happy. Meanwhile, when Sarah moved to live with friends, Vince found a job closer to the neighbors. Barbara had lost touch with some of her old friends, and she seemed to welcome the opportunity to rekindle her friendship with Vince. We spent time together, had dinner, drank bars, and chatted. This made me remember Sarah's comment. She was right. We were kind of lost, and I felt a little forgotten. What was not done was that we both missed Sarah. Barstibara's social media post with Vince doesn't limit the situation. There was also no mention of him being her husband. Barbara's 47th birthday party at our house gave me some feelings. She was constantly relaxing next to Vince, having fun and joking with her friends. In unfamiliar situations, they appear to be a couple. Our longtime neighbor and good friend Victoria noticed my nervousness. "Are you okay, Chris? You look a little pale." I tried to avoid answering, but she knew me well and persisted until I shared my concerns. "Everything is fine with you guys, right? I know Vince is a good friend of yours, and we can have friends of the opposite sex. They are just like us." "I'm not sure, Victoria. I just think that if we spent as much time together as these two did, we could have had a deeper relationship. Who knows where that would have led?" I suspected that Victoria was probably experimenting something with Barbara, because shortly after that she seriously turned to me. "What did you say to Victoria, and what nonsense is she talking about? You are being ignored?" "My wife was silent with me all night, but she always has time for everyone," he concluded. "Today we have guests. I need to greet everyone who came," he added, looking around. "Except you didn't. It seems like you were just serving Vince," she remarked, a flash of rage in her eyes. "What are you talking about? You are being ridiculous and petty. We're just friends. His gender doesn't matter," he replied, feeling the situation heating up. "But your interaction makes me wonder what else could happen," she continued, not looking away. "Nothing else is happening. You need to calm down." He tried to calm her down, but she just demanded and walked away. He felt terrible because it was her birthday and they had a fight. Communication between them did not resume until the morning, and for a week this situation was not safe. Attempts to apologize were in vain. Her heart seemed petrified. The words from her mouth were just cold wind. When we finally talk, leave the refrigerator in the refrigerator. She announced that Vince had invited her to spend the weekend in the city. The question was this planned to test me and my answers? This thought made me realize how deep a chasm we are in. Maintaining protection will be difficult, if not impossible. Are you really going there? Considering our situation, is this your choice? We are just friends and get along well with each other. There's nothing wrong with spending the weekend together. I'd even like to relax. I offered many options, but you always refused, and now you find time for him. So when are you going to take a break from us? Bar Gladborough's gaze dropped. This is a special offer for next weekend in Rome. So I can assume that you have already agreed, and Rome is a place that we have dreamed of for many years, but you just couldn't find it for a while. It's just adorable. Barbara changed her tone. Look, Chris, I know this isn't ideal, but it's just for a few days. Just a problem. I don't want to control you, but I admit I'm jealous that he takes up so much of your time and attention. You are so emotionally connected to him, and he has already started to take over. Dating, and now a trip. I do not like it. But it's not dating, it's not like that. I love you, not Vince. In my opinion, this is not entirely true. Maybe you can talk to him about us, share the details of our relationship. This question confused her. Sometimes it helps me see things from your point of view and think things through. Yes, it's wonderful, isn't it? But I doubt that we look at everyone the same, and I believe that you are driving me further away from me. Are you talking about our sex life? Not really, just small fragments. Don't, Barbara. Even if you feel that this is your personal matter, you shouldn't tell him about it. You do too much. It seems like you're married to him and not to me, Chris said. No, it's not like that, Chris. I'm your wife, but now I can't let him down, Barbara replied. You're going anyway. The decision has already been made without my participation. When my opinion ended, it mattered. You don't value him. You only value yours and Vince's. As the trip approached, we grew further apart, and I got the impression that Barbara had some regrets, but did not want to back down. I was glad she left on Friday morning. There was a farewell message. I love and appreciate you. I'll be back before you know it. I'll call you later. I thought about going to a bar and getting drunk, or going to my sister Monica's house. We fought often, but she was always on my radio when needed, and would happily tell Barbara off if it would help me. In the end, I did neither, and decided to spend a quiet night at home, thinking about my marriage. I needed to make some decisions. I didn't want to continue like this. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. That night, the phone rang and I slowly picked it up, pretending to ignore the call, but everyone answered the same, allowing myself to calmly. Hello, dear. We arrived safely. The hotel is wonderful. I just wanted to let you know about our arrival, her voice rang out. Thank you for calling. At least now I know you're safe, I replied. This afternoon we visited the Colosseum, this evening guide to the Trevi Fountain and the Spanish Door. It's just magical, she continued. Sounds great. All those places we talked about, I said. I threw a coin at Trevi and wished to return with you. You would appreciate it, she said with a hint of excitement. It's not what it was anymore, Barbara. I would like to think about all this with you as a couple, was my answer, laced with some sadness. Please, don't start another argument, Chris. I regret how things turned out between us, and that it went the way it did. I still think about you, and believe me, this has nothing to do with love, she said, as if addressing a child. Barbara screamed, Oh, you're just unbearable, and the line went dead. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. I felt lonely and frustrated, especially on Saturday night when no one called. Even looking at posts on social networks did not bring relief, because Rome looked successful. Several comments from relatives asked where I lived and replied that my friends were away for the weekend. Sarah called me. Even though she had seen the posts on social media, she was still shocked to realize that we were together in Rome. I briefly told her about our conversations and told her that her mother always loved to travel, no matter the circumstances. Sarah wanted to call her, but I insisted that she not interfere. "It's no use, Sarah. She thinks I'm jealous when I'm just expressing my feelings. She doesn't understand that the problem is much deeper than just my jealousy. She doesn't even think about what needs to be discussed." "Well, maybe she has her own point of view, Dad. For her, a trip with friends is not something unusual. Maybe you are overestimating the situation and are a little jealous." I tried to contain my irritation. "Like I said, Sarah, it's best to stay away from this. The problem here is not only this train, but that you and your mother do not see the deeper aspects." Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. When she returned from Sunday tea, Barbara tried to hug and kiss me. I didn't stop it, but it was tough and uncertain. We tried to talk, but it was awkward, with several unsuccessful attempts. I didn't have to think so much before talking to her before. I felt she looked the same. "Sorry I didn't call yesterday. My head is spinning and I'm not used to us fighting. I missed you dearly, but I had every right to travel on this journey. I know we need something more to figure this out." "Do you mean to have a conversation, or are you just trying to make a convincing point to me? What if I take Victoria to Paris for the weekend?" "That wouldn't be appropriate. She's divorced." "So what? Vince is single." "This is completely different. She likes you?" "You mean Vince doesn't like me?" I noticed her confusion and continued, "Has he ever told you that he loves you?" "No, never. We never discussed this," she replied. "But you see that he—" "Really?" "The way he looks at you and takes in your every word," I remarked. Maybe it is. And this is one of the reasons why I cannot leave him. Imagine that all this time I have feelings for him, realizing that they will never be mutual," she admitted. "We promise we won't be able to move on, Barbara, if we keep him so close. This may encourage him to look for something new. Maybe he met someone this weekend." "This is affecting both of us, and I feel alone," I said, trying to share my feelings. "Really, Chris, we are both strong and independent people. We were never judgmental towards each other," she said, trying to calm me down. "But I can't stop thinking that the person who should be closer to me is more worried about his girlfriend than about me. Think about how much time and energy you put into our connection compared to Vince and other friends," I said, expressing my thoughts. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. I was surprised when Vince knocked on my door and asked me to come in. "Barbara isn't here, Vince. She's at work," I said. "I know. It was you I wanted to see," he replied. "I'm waiting for it. After all, you are her confidant. I think she tells you everything we discuss," I noted. "She's my friend. You don't have to worry about anything. If I were a woman, this wouldn't be a problem," Vince countered. "I don't think that's true. This may be less of a problem, but no matter who it is, if the end result was not achieved and things were not taken into account with each other, it would always be a problem." "Tell me something you both are talking about," I asked. "Anything. Whatever I think," he checked. "I love your thoughts, ideas, plans, and hopes," I said. "Yes, all this and 1,001 other things. Most of it is nonsense," Vince admitted. I paused, trying to take it all in. I miss the times when we talked about more important things, but now we only talk about mundane things. House, bills, family. You seem to be having a good time eating out." "Yeah, we do that kind of thing, and I enjoy spending time with her," he said. "Yes, of course. It should be nice. You see how many times I suggested that she go out to dinner or go on a trip, do something pleasant or romantic. I lost someone with whom I could share my hopes and dreams. You have a closer relationship with her than men," he noted. "Just talk to her, Chris. Tell her how you feel." "I know she loves you," I advised. "I tried, but she thinks it's about sex, that I'm jealous and controlling, but it doesn't matter." "I lost her," Chris predicts. "Don't say that, Chris. Barbara would be devastated. She loves you. You see, I didn't realize it was that bad. I just thought you were a jealous idiot. I can stop dating her so as not to create problems," I suggested. I winced. "Yes, that's a great idea, by the way. You love it so much." You offered her something she didn't want to do, but she always chose you. You are a better friend to her than she is a wife to you, right?" He looked at me silently, and I walked him to the door. "Won't be back again, Vince. Next time I might not be so friendly." Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. After dinner, Barbara wanted to say something. "Vince told me he was at your place. He read me the riot act and said that if he had known you would be so upset, he would not have offered to come back. He admits he's monopolizing my time." "So you shared all of our quick conversations with him and then met with him today to discuss the results of his visit. Do you understand why I consider myself such an outsider in this regard?" Barbara apparently hadn't quite caught on yet and kept quoting Vince. "When I said you could handle this, Vince told me to get Mama head out of my ass and that I needed you. So when he repeats the same thing as me, you pay attention. I guess I shouldn't be surprised." Barbara continued, "No one, including you, has the right to control me. I admit I'm confused about my priorities, but that's no good. If I thought you were in a relationship with someone, I would have known about it by now. But forget about love. You still put him first. He is your best friend, not me, and this situation is not helping us. Listen, Barbara, the question is simple. Why are you with him? You'll be happier with him, and you almost rejected me. Earlier, when we talked about this, you said that this is what you and he need. You don't even think about how I feel. This is not love, and this is not respect for authority. I'm sorry, I love and respect you, but it always seems that everything is fine with you. You are strong and independent." "That's not entirely true, Barbara. I get most of this strength from our relationship, from being together, which affects the other friend. And one more thing, don't tell Vince about this conversation." "But will he definitely ask?" "Damn it, I give up. Just try to respect our attitude and put it above your friends. It shouldn't be that hard, Barbara. As for the three of us, I feel like I'm in third place. Enjoy the attention of two men and keep close to someone who is clearly in love with you. I can't stand it. I'm leaving. I'll go spend time with Monica." Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Staying with Monica was pleasant. She was an interlocutor. This was perhaps the first time in a long time that I felt supported and cared for, in stark contrast to the last period of my marriage. We shared many fond memories and a love of drinking, which was the greatest release from everyday worries. Meeting my nephews and nieces was also a rewarding experience, seeing them prepare to explore the world around them. Barbara called constantly, expressing her sadness and uncertainty, although she did not even appear in person. She regretted that the situation had gotten out of control and thought to look at everything from my side. Sarah was shocked when she found out I had left, and her mother went into a panic over the phone, begging me to come back. I arranged a dinner with Sarah to clear things up, and to everyone's surprise, both Barbara and Vince were at the restaurant. We both saw them approach the corner, smiling and joking. Sarah burst in at the worst possible moment, just when I thought we were lucky to avoid a scandal. "How dare you?" she exploded, pointing at me. "You call me, sob into the phone, tell me about your reckless father, how you can't live without him, and then you're having fun to the fullest. No wonder you have such priorities." Barbara and Vince's jaws dropped, and she blushed with shame. I stepped back, feeling awkwardly amused. "I don't blame him for leaving you, you self-centered bastard," Sarah continued her tirade, turning to Vince. "Why the hell are you hanging around a married woman for years, like some kind of far-fetched love patient? Live your damn life and leave her in some way. Don't you realize she's on a short leash? She just needs you to raise her self-esteem. She doesn't even have to sleep with you for you to feel happy." She came back to me. "We're leaving." It was as if I was paralyzed and couldn't think of how to respond. Turning, I follow her, leaving the stunned couple and the entire restaurant in confusion. I knew it had happened. Sarah almost made it to the car before she burst into tears, her legs giving way as I caught up with her and pulled her into the passenger seat. It took a while before she could speak. "Sorry, Dad. You were right. I can't call her. Yes, unfortunately, she still doesn't understand it." Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Barbara looked at her daughter in shock. "What do you mean your father went to Paris with Victoria?" "Well, Mom," she replied, "this just proves that you were right all along. I think Dad might have the same girlfriend as you." "No, he cannot. He said he would take me to Paris." "Yes, he said something about asking questions, but you're too busy." "We are still wives. He can't take this girl with him on a romantic weekend. It is not right." "Relax, Mom. It's not romantic. They're just friends." "I know what you're doing, but this is different. She'll get hooked on him." "Why are you even worried, Mom? You've been moving away from Dad for many years now. You put everyone before him." I didn't mean that. I mean, he's okay. Chris, he'll always be there. It's not something I need to focus any effort on." Well, you better reorient yourself quickly. It's a plutonic trip, but if you keep screwing up, there are other women who will be more interested in Daddy. So, once again, her daughter shocked her enough that she didn't even think about punishing her for constantly dropping the bombshell. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Victoria roughly followed our plan, but it was actually Sarah's idea, and she asked Victoria if she agreed. I confirmed that this was the last chance before we discussed divorce. We had a wonderful time exploring the city as good friends. Victoria was a companion anyway, light and relaxed, reminding me of what I missed with Barbara. She was full of positivity and excitement throughout the entire trip. I was surprised when Barbara met us at the airport. I waited angrily for the exit, but Barbara greeted Victoria politely, which stunned us both. "Victoria, could you give us some time, a cup of coffee, and then I'll take us all home?" she said. Victoria changed, wished Barbara luck, and left. We sat in expectant silence in an almost empty room. "I'm sorry, Chris. I never felt the way you felt. I know I hurt you and neglected you. I missed you so much." At that moment, I had no words. Vince was upset by Sarah's outburst, and I was faced with some difficult questions that I found difficult to answer. I strove to find and support him, but this attitude concerned not only me as an individual. "It looks like our friendship has come to an end." I just shrugged. "It won't fix it, Barbara. You ignored me, giving priority to someone else's round. I'm not even sure if you like me anymore." "Of course I do. I love you," she replied. I was about to answer that I loved her out of inertia, but I realized that I was no longer sure of my feelings. The deep connection with someone special disappeared for a while. Barbara noticed my silence, and her eyes widened. "Please give me another chance, Chris. We can't ruin a 23-year marriage over friendship," she begged. "But we can if there is no independence, no trust, and if the one you love most constantly appears to you as other people." "I am aware of my mistakes. I respect you completely. I accepted you as I should have, assuming that you would always be there. The trip to Rome was a mistake. We convinced ourselves that you were jealous and controlling, so part of it was to demonstrate that I could be an independent person. It's hard to be independent if you're always judging someone." She seemed to be panicking and struggling to find a compelling argument for us to eat together. Just give me 3 months. I'll prove it to you. No matter what I say here and now, you don't trust me, and I understand that. So let me prove it to you. Give me 3 months to show it to you. If you're happy, give me another 3 months after that." Her words sounded like panicked confusion, but she seemed sincere. I reluctantly, openly, but without much hope, tried to understand how she could have changed so much. She dealt with it in the beginning, and it was like a journey 5 years ago in our marriage. We paid attention to each other again and started talking more. I thought these changes wouldn't last long, and we would celebrate our old habits and relationships, but Barbara proved me wrong. I finally had to tell her not to stress anymore. We're doing well, and there's no need to rush things. We spent more time together, listened carefully to each other, and shared all our plans and ambitions in the field of construction. She still saw Vince sometimes, and that was fine with me. That relationship had changed too. Barbara said she was thinking of introducing him to a couple of her single friends. Victoria was happy for us, and remained a close friend and neighbor. Sarah was delighted, taking all the credit for getting us back together. I didn't really argue about this topic. We are at the 30th 3-month mark and still standing strong.